joining me today. I'm once again really late to the party on this, but I'm going to do my review of my February makes. I did a January review last month and I wasn't sure if it would be of interest or not, but the feedback I got was really good. And obviously by this point I've actually been able to wear the garments a little more. So it feels like ages away now actually, but I made overall 5 different garments in February, which I'm quite pleased with. I think in January I made 6, and I think in March I'm going to have made even fewer. So 5 I think is pretty good. So I started off with the Tilly and the Buttons Marley blouse. Now this has been in my stash for a little while, and I wasn't 100% sure whether the style would suit me or not. It has that seam above the bust, which I've previously I've made a few blouses with that shape because it seems to be very popular at the moment. And I've had a very mixed feeling of how that suits me and how much I like to wear that shape. But I also have seen, I've seen so many different versions of Marnie and I've really enjoyed them on everyone I've seen them on. So I sort of thought it was worth giving it a try. Now, the plus of the Marnie blouse is there are lots of different options of sort of, as I've said before, the bells and whistles you can add. So there are pleats above the bust, there are pleats on the sleeves, there are these nice big sort of floaty balloon sleeves. You can have a ruffle on the neck, you can have ruffles at the shoulders. So I feel like you can really make it your own, which is great. I decided to use the viscose crepe fabric from Fabric Godmother, part of their Valentine's collection. Sorry, Nala's just about to manoeuvre herself in a very small space, so we may need to see some wobbling. No, she's done that very smoothly. Right. So it's in Swooning Hearts and Viscose Crepe, which was from the Valentine's collection from Fabric Godmother. I bought mine from Jenny Stitch's fabric with a voucher that I was given as part of my role on her blogging team. And I have to say, I really liked it. So here's a picture of me wearing it. This was me and Nate went to a cocktail masterclass thing, which was a birthday gift for him. And we spent a lot of time day drinking. So I didn't get loads of pictures of it. But here's a picture of us both. And then we also were in a little photo booth later on in the day. So here's a picture of that as well. Generally, I really like it. And I've worn it quite a bit. A couple of things I will say. First of all, the pattern recommendation said I needed something like 3.4 meters of fabric or something, like a lot of fabric. And I got it out of 2.5 meters, which is great. So I would be aware, I find that with Tilly patterns quite a bit, that I think they sometimes overestimate the amount of fabric you need. And I often find with a little bit of like wriggling about, you can normally get it out of less. So that worked out perfectly. The one thing that was annoying was the shoulder ruffles. So I ended up making the version that has the undulating tucks on the upper bodice piece and the shoulder frills. I didn't do anything else on the sleeves, and I didn't do the neck ruffle. The undulating tucks I think worked really well. A few people have said that if you're like a viscose drapey fabric, they wouldn't work so well, but I thought they looked nice and they weren't too tricky to do. But the frills are only single-sided. So what they ask you to do is you cut out the sort of curve. Sorry, that wobbling is Nala coming in again with something else. So they do it with a single size and then you sort of fold it over and hem it. Now, I had already decided that I wanted to double side the frills so that you're not getting, because this fabric has, it's very dark on one side and the underside is very light, and I knew it would annoy me. But I couldn't get it out 2.5 meters. There wasn't enough left. So I had to single side the frill, and I find it absolutely infuriating to wear. So I don't know if at some point I might go back to it and try and add, even if it was like black on the underside or something, like it wouldn't have to be an absolute match to the fabric. But you can see, if I put this picture up again, you can see there's a little moment where the underside like shows through. And then the frill, obviously bits of it like flip over and it's not like rigid. So that's one thing I found really annoying. So I would say be aware that you can get it out of less fabric. But also be aware that I think if you're going to do the shoulder frills, double siding them is a must. And otherwise, I would say, I think if I made it out of a less drapey fabric, I probably wouldn't have liked it on me as much. In the drapey fabric, I really enjoyed it. I think there's enough movement that it doesn't feel too like tent-like with the seam line over the bust. I'm glad I didn't do the neck ruffle because I just don't like having things that are like super tight around my neck. And I was really happy with the sleeves without the pin tucks. I think the pin tucks are very cute, but because the fabric was quite busy, I just didn't feel the need. And actually, I thought the sleeves were very beautiful without that. Yeah, so that has been a good garment, and I'm wearing it a lot, and that's great. The next thing I made was actually a garment I finished. So you'll have seen it a little bit in January, but then my machine had a bit of a meltdown. So I actually only finished it at the start of February, and that was the Cali shirt from Closet Core Patterns. So again, this is a pattern I've had for ages, and I hadn't made up. I think I've been shying away from things where I was worried about the fit, but I do actually just think I should have got on with it, because I think my understanding of how to pick a good size for myself is a lot better now than it was. Now the Cali shirt pattern comes in 3 different length options. So it's sort of a boxy shirt fit. It has a cropped length, a tunic length, and a dress length. The original comes with, oh, hang on, sorry about that. Nala, I thought she was being really good and really quiet, and then I looked down and she was tearing something apart on the floor, the foam from her dog bed. So she's been expelled from the room. As we were saying, the Cali shirt dress. So it's a boxy shirt pattern, comes in 3 different lengths: cropped, tunic length, which is like a full length top, or quite a long length top, I would say, and then a dress. Again, if you see this in different fabric, it feels very different. So if you make it in sort of a cotton shirting or a lawn or anything like that, the boxy shape is much more apparent. It has normally these sort of grown on cap sleeves, but there's also an expansion pack which has longer sleeves. So I decided to make the tunic length, and I did the longer sleeves. The fabric I used, I don't actually know what type of fabric this is. I bought it at the Stitch Festival last year, and I'd been too scared to cut into it, but I'd always had like a floaty shirt blouse in mind. And obviously with the Stitch Festival coming around again, and I'm going again this year, I wanted to use that fabric up. It's sort of very drapey, very light. It's a little bit see-through. I guess it's maybe like, I don't know, some sort of viscose. It's got lurex in it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't be more helpful. I don't know what substrate of fabric that is, but yeah, so generally with the pattern, again, I've worn this blouse a lot. The only thing I've had issue with was the sleeves. I just got a bit muddled when I was sewing them up, and basically it's supposed to have this fold over. So when I was making it, I was thinking the cuff seems enormous, and I do think that was maybe an oversight with the drafting, because even someone explained to me on another video that it's supposed to be, I think it's called a French cuff or something, so it's supposed to be sort of folded up and back. But even when I did that, it's supposed to be sort of maybe 3/4 length when you fold the thing up. And for me, they were so long, it was like past my hands. And when I folded it up, it was way too big, the cuff, to actually hold the sleeve where it needed to be, sort of thing. So I think when I make it next time, I just wear it as like a full length sleeve. And it goes slightly down over my hands, but I just live with it. But I think I will make this pattern again, but I'm going to do some serious work to the sleeves. I think I would prefer to have the sleeve as sort of a bit billowy with a tighter cuff at the wrist, as opposed to having their like fold up cuff. That's just my personal preference. I think I'm more likely to wear it that way. So yeah, so I just say be like, keep an eye on the sleeves if you're making this pattern. Out of all of the things that I made last month, this is probably the thing I wear the most. I wear it to work. I think it looks great just with some black jeans. I've worn it to the pub with friends. I've worn it out for dinner with Nate. Yeah, it's just a really good blouse, day-to-day blouse, when I want to be a little bit smart. As I said, it's not perfect. I had all those issues with my machine, which means one of the buttons is wonky because there was such a build-up of thread, and as I tried to get rid of it, it just made the whole thing worse. So it's not perfect by any means, but I am wearing it all the time, which I think is what's important. The next two garments made up some pajamas. So I haven't got any pictures of myself in these because they're just pajamas, and I did sort of weigh it up, but I just sort of thought, you don't need pictures. So you can see the top here. This is using the Stanway tee, which is from the Cashmere Ahead of the Curve book, which is my favourite pajama top pattern. The fabric is a cotton jersey that I purchased when I was in Brighton from, I think it's H&F Haberdashery and Fabrics. And then I can't remember where I got the ribbing from. I think I already had it in my stash. I think I might have got it from possibly First for Fabrics, possibly Jenny Stitches. Can't remember. They both have a nice ribbing selection. So I just shortened the sleeves. So the Stanway has long sleeves, so I just shortened the sleeves. And then the trousers are my fave Hudson pant trousers, which are here, and again with the matching ribbing. I didn't bother doing the tie. I don't know if you'll remember, they normally have a little optional, like a faux tie at the front, which I didn't bother with. And I mean, they're pajamas. I wear them all the time. They're covered in dog hair, but they do the job. Hudson is one of my favourite patterns, actually, in terms of like casual wear. I just find the fit good. And it's got lots of nice little features, and it's quite a quick sew. So you've heard me rabbit on about those before, so I won't go into much more detail. And then the last thing I made last month was the Harriet dress, which was my dress from my January Little Miss So-and-so luxurious subscription box. And I made that using a the fabric that came in the box, which was this Lady McElroy Dotty About Dots cotton lawn in claret. And the pattern is a fibre mood pattern. Again, it's one where I think that month they had that, or they had this like long line sweater dress, which I just knew I wouldn't wear. I have my favourite sweater dress pattern, which is my Tilly and the Buttons Billy, which I use, and I just thought I don't need another pattern, and I definitely don't need a floor length sweater pattern. And I was a little unsure initially about the Harriet pattern. It has a dropped waist, which is not a silhouette that I'm really into. It has this very like utilitarian pocket vibe, which again is something I'm not sure about. But as you'll have seen if you've watched my other unboxing video for the February box, I loved it. I loved sewing it. I love wearing it. I really like the pattern. I think the fabric and the pattern combo just means it's the right mix of not being too, it's like a good mix of masculine and feminine, in terms of you've got this like boxy, the pockets on the front, but then you've got this nice little delicate dot fabric. I really like the length of the skirt. I was really pleased with the fit. I didn't make any adjustments really. And yeah, just overall love that dress. The only thing that's annoying about it is obviously I've just got to press it before I wear it. And there's a lot of fabric in that dress. But yeah, so I feel like it was quite a successful month in terms of makes. I do think this year I've been a bit more mindful about planning what I'm making. And yeah, just being a bit more careful about thinking realistically, like, what am I going to wear? So in January, I made a lot of sort of leisure wear, which I did get a lot of wear out of. I'm now trying to think of things like, obviously the pajamas I wear all the time, but it's also a lot of the time I'm at work. So what are things that I can wear to work? What are things that will see me through? Obviously we've had some cold snaps, but also we're getting some slightly warmer, milder weather now. And so it's like, what are garments that are going to see me through the next few months, not just the next like couple of weeks. So I do think I'm doing better with that. So far this month, for March, I am on 3 makes. I'm hopefully going to start my 4th on Friday probably, because I've got a bit of time off. And then I'm going to the knitting and stitching show on Sunday, which I'm really excited about. I went last year. Last year was the first time I'd ever been to one of those sorts of shows. And I also went to, so it's the Stitch Festival on Sunday, the knitting and stitching show I went to in October, and then this is my second time at the Stitch Festival. There are loads of exhibitors who I know, or know of there, so people I purchased from and stuff. So that'll be nice to see people in person. And I'm sure that will give me some inspiration. I also have some time off in April, so I'm going to be doing lots of lots of sewing in April. So I don't know how much more stuff there's going to be in March, to be honest. I was hoping I did this video the other day for So Frugal, but I think I might run out of time to make the things I want to make. So I don't think I'll have anything ready in time to enter for So Frugal specifically. But I've definitely found a couple of things that I'm going to make from free patterns, which I suppose is the point. So they will probably go onto my April list. One of the patterns I mentioned was this blazer, which everyone seemed really into. And now I've been thinking, maybe that needs to shimmy on up the priority list. So, yeah, so lots happening. As I said, I think if I get 4 makes, hopefully this pattern isn't going to continue through the year where every month I make one less make. But I think if I get 4 out of March, I'll be pretty pleased. It's been a busy month. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for everyone who has liked and subscribed and commented recently. It really means a lot, and I love hearing from you all. And I hope you enjoy this video. Okay, see you next time. Bye!